Now at 5, the Missouri Public Service Commission invites Liberty customers in Joplin out to a town hall addressing concerns about the utility provider. Plus, a Southeast Kansas father faces a rare cancer battle. Hear how his family's fight now depends on the kindness of strangers. And
President Trump blocks a measure to phase out gas-powered vehicles. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on that and the push to pass the president's spending bill.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
consumers are getting the chance to make their voices heard when it comes to issues with Liberty Utilities. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Anthony Saviello is outside the MSSU Justice Center auditorium with more on a public meeting tonight.
Yeah, in just about an hour, the last meeting in a string of 4 meetings put on by the Missouri Public Service Commission is set to take place here at the auditorium at the MSSU Justice Center. Now, this meeting is used for consumers to bring up their issues that they've had when it comes to Liberty Utilities, specifically in regards to their customer service and billing. Now, Liberty Utilities actually went under investigation by the Public Service Commission back in February. These 4 meetings were planned last month, and Joplin is the last stop. In attendance today will be Missouri Public Service Commission staff, as well as Liberty Utilities and any resident or consumer that has any issues that they would like to bring up. For anyone who is wanting to attend this meeting, it begins at 6 p.m. right here at the MSSU Justice Center Auditorium in Joplin. I'm Anthony Saviello.
Anthony, thanks. We're going to have more on the meeting tonight on KOAM News at 6. As we head into Father's Day weekend, a father from Fulton, Kansas is in the fight of his life. 41-year-old Joe Erie, a husband and dad of 2, is battling a rare and aggressive form of testicular cancer. Doctors say time is running out, and Joe says he's one of the rare 2% of patients who don't respond to standard treatment. Now, with limited options left, Joe's turning to the community for help, hoping to fund what could be his last chance for survival.
God is our number one. He became completely paralyzed from the belly button down. He has a tumor on his spine, the T9 area to be exact, that had cut off the blood supply to the spinal cord.
Spiritual now than he was before. Like he could go tonight and he'd be happy.
If you want to help this family, there will be a GoFundMe link at KOAMNewsNow.com. We're going to have much more on this story for you tonight. KOAM News at 6. A free nursing summer day camp took place today at Pittsburgh State University. Kids ages 7 through 11 were able to participate in several different stations where they learned about CPR, anatomy, simulation, patient care, and more. It was an opportunity for the kids to learn about the different fields of nursing and gain a few extra skills.
Just to get their interest in something they may not be aware of, or show them that there are all aspects of nursing that if they wanted to be a nurse, they could really do. Pediatrics, adults, just that there's so many different fields in nursing that they could. Pittsburgh
State University is holding a day camp on a variety of topics throughout the summer. You can learn more about what's offered at KOAMNewsNow.com. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Well, of course, we've had hit and miss scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms out there for us today. This is going to continue tonight and then into your Friday as well. In fact, there's chances going up through the overnight into the morning hours and then slowly tapering off as we go into your Friday afternoon. However, we do have bands of showers, even a few thunderstorms spreading in. Of course, nothing strong, nothing severe as we go through the overnight hours. Pretty good cluster just to the west of Pittsburgh, and we will continue to kind of have these lifting back toward the north and to the west over the next several hours. So hit and miss scattered thunderstorms. Here's about midnight. Let's go into the morning hours. Another big batch kind of rotating through. So it's going to start wet, very similar to what we saw today. Of course, we'll look into the weekend here in just a bit.
See you soon. President Trump continued to clash with California, moving to crush the state's effort to curb tailpipe emissions. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
President Trump signed a measure Thursday to block California's rule phasing out the sale of gas-powered cars.
This horrible scheme would effectively abolish the internal combustion engine, which most people prefer.
The California rule was designed to force the move to electric vehicles. The state's attorney general says he'll challenge the measure, calling it a retaliation against California.
The federal government's actions are not only unlawful, they're irrational and wildly partisan. And they come at the direct expense of the health and the well-being of our people.
At the White House signing event, the president said inflation is under control, and he renewed his attacks on Jerome Powell, calling on the Federal Reserve chairman to cut interest rates.
We're going to spend $600 billion a year, $600 billion, because of one numbskull that sits here. I don't see enough reason to cut the rate.
President Trump is also calling on Congress, pressing the Senate to pass his tax and spending bill. He says it's one of the most important pieces of legislation ever. As Republican lawmakers wrestle with revisions, Democrats say the so-called Big Beautiful Bill will cripple the healthcare system.
It would rip away coverage from 16 million people, send healthcare costs for 22 million through the roof, cut 2 million jobs.
Opponents of the president are preparing to gather at rallies across the country this weekend as a counterpoint to Saturday's military parade in the nation's capital. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The parade marks the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. It also is happening on President Trump's birthday. An airliner headed to the U.K. crashed today with 242 people on board. Authorities say only one person survived. It appears more people were killed on the ground. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner took off from India and went down in a residential area just minutes into the flight. Authorities say the plane carried passengers from India, Britain, Portugal, and Canada. Search teams have recovered more than 100 bodies from the crash site. A little bit later, a struggle for a lot of communities heading into the summer months.
With swim season here, more communities are trying to solve a lifeguard shortage. I'm Bradley Blackburn with what's working to help keep pools open and safe.
But first, the treatment helping to treat debilitating neurological disorders. One child's story next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, a new way to measure a person's blood pressure could help the thousands of patients who can't have their pressure taken on their arm. That's according to a study published in BMJ Open. Researchers looked at data from more than 33,000 people and developed an online calculator to better interpret blood pressure measurements from ankle readings. They say this could be a useful tool for people who are unable to have their pressure taken at the arm because of certain medical conditions. New research in the journal Neurology finds stroke, dementia, and depression are more common in people with a specific biomarker of aging. But the Harvard Medical School researchers say a healthy lifestyle might modify the effects. The association was not found in people who had healthy habits such as eating right and keeping cholesterol and blood pressure in check. A young Florida boy who once struggled to move or even hug his mother due to a debilitating neurological disorder is now swimming, biking, and running. Thanks to a treatment offered at one of the few pediatric hospitals in the nation. Lauren Pastrana has that story.
Tamron Hendon's family goes to great lengths for his health, driving from Tallahassee to Miami for treatment.
Recharging once a week.
And putting a device in his chest to stimulate his brain.
So I'm only lowering the left side of your brain.
On a recent visit to Nicholas Children's Hospital, one of the few pediatric hospitals in the country performing deep brain stimulation, his doctor fine-tuned his settings.
It was miraculous. And now he swims, he rides his bike, he runs, he could do whatever he did before the onset.
But just over a year ago, Tamron's life looked very different.
I couldn't hug her. I tried.
In fact, he could barely move and was in a lot of pain due to severe dystonia, a movement disorder that causes muscles to contract.
He couldn't hold himself upright, and his back would bend and he would fall over. And it would be worse later in the day.
His parents sought help from doctors all over the state before meeting Dr. Migvis Mondui.
Even sitting in a wheelchair became very, very uncomfortable for him, so he was mostly bedridden at that point.
After running tests, Dr. Mondui found Tamron's dystonia was the result of a genetic mutation that responds well to deep brain stimulation.
This gets implanted typically under the skin in the chest area, and then there are cables that are going to be connected to this. Those are the leads, and those are going to be tunneled under the skin and then through the skull into the brain.
The device delivers electrical impulses that regulate abnormal brain signals like the ones that cause dystonia, Parkinson's disease, or epilepsy.
It was a really hard time, but now his cheerful self is back.
His parents say it feels like science fiction, but they're so grateful for this new reality.
Lauren Pastrana, CBS News, Miami.
It can take 6 months to a year to get the settings right. They can be adjusted through an app. And a troubling trend, deaths from alcohol-associated liver disease increased significantly across demographic groups, but particularly for women and younger adults. Researchers say the findings in JAMA Network Open underscore the urgent need for public health interventions, especially given the increases seen in alcohol consumption following the COVID pandemic. That is a look at today's health news. Still ahead, flooding turns deadly in San Antonio, Texas.
And we still have more rain in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a little bit of a gloomy Thursday for us today. A lot of clouds, some scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms, but nothing in the strong category or severe, and we don't have to deal with that as we go through the evening into the overnight hours tonight, which is definitely good news. Upper level low kind of spinning on top of us, giving us these scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms. In fact, if we zoom in just a bit, you can see these kind of lifting from the south, kind of rotating back toward the north and to the west. Let's go ahead, zoom in, some scattered showers near Grand Lake. Couple little sprinkles up toward Neosho, and then we have one little thunderstorm, Orinoco, up toward Carthage. We can track a little farther toward the north. One little guy just south of Nevada, and then a little bit of a complex, which is pushing back toward the north and to the west. Girard over toward Erie, but again, not super heavy amounts of rain, which is good. And this little wave starts to push east as we go through the next couple days. Still though, we're going to have some waves kind of rotating around this big dome of high pressure, keeping at least slight chances for a few thunderstorms in the forecast as we head into the weekend. We do have another wave, slides out late Tuesday into Wednesday, chance for thunderstorms. Those could be a little bit stronger. And then a big ridge of high pressure starts to build in, and this will bring in heat and even humidity, making it feel like the second half of June as we get into next week. So those rain chances kind of shooting up through tonight and then tapering off once we get into late tomorrow and then also tomorrow night. Let's go through time. Here's midnight, still some scattered showers, random thunderstorm, kind of lifting in back toward the west, rotating around counterclockwise this area of low pressure. As we get into Friday morning, still we're going to have those scattered showers and a few thunderstorms out there, hit and miss, very similar to what we did see today, and then kind of sliding off toward the east once we get into Friday afternoon. Here's 5 p.m., high temps into the upper 70s. Kind of clearing out tomorrow night into Saturday morning. I think in general, Saturday looks pretty good. We're going to have some thunderstorms out to our west, back to our southwest. We're going to heat up into the 80s for highs. And then Saturday night into Sunday morning, especially our western counties, we'll have chances for thunderstorms kind of pushing in again. Big question mark on those, but something we'll watch as we go through the next few days. All right, rainfall amounts, at least tonight into tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be super heavy, but still with some of these heavier storms, we could pick up a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch in spots. Looking outside right now, looks pretty good. Nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, we have the clouds. Temps mainly sitting into the mid 70s right now. Through the evening, slide back into the 60s. And of course, we're going to have those hit and miss scattered showers and thunderstorms across the region as we go into your Friday. 87 Saturday, looking pretty good. Slight chance for a few pop-up thunderstorms Sunday. And then look at the temps next week. warming into the 90s for highs.
Here comes summer. Ready or not?
Yeah, it's going to feel like it.
Thanks, Doug. Downpours in San Antonio, Texas turned deadly. Authorities say at least 4 people were killed, dozens of others rescued after heavy rain and storms flooded roads throughout the city. Some had to be pulled from submerged cars to safety.
We pulled 8 people out of the water, and we still have a couple unaccounted for. Right now, we're just searching for the other people. We have no indication of where they're at.
Officials report 20,000 customers lost power. The National Weather Service says San Antonio got more than 6 inches of rain since early today. It's more than the average rainfall for June and July combined. The region could see potentially damaging wind gusts and hail as storms move through south central Texas. Coming up, the Senate votes on whether a former Southwest Missouri congressman should lead the IRS. Topping today's Consumer Watch, former U.S. Representative Billy Long of Southwest Missouri will lead the Internal Revenue Service. The U.S. Senate today confirmed Long on a 53-44 vote, despite Democrats' concerns about the Republicans' past work for a firm that pitched a fraud-ridden pandemic-era tax break. While in Congress, where he served from 2011 to 2023, Long sponsored legislation to get rid of the IRS. Long has no background in tax administration. Before his election to Congress, Long was an auctioneer. A shortage of summer lifeguards has become a perennial problem across the country. But to keep pools and beaches open, more communities are getting creative. Bradley Blackburn has a closer look.
Go! These swimmers are lifeguards in training.
Good, keep on.
Helping rescue New York City from a struggle happening across the country.
The lifeguard shortage is a real issue. It's a national issue. It's a city issue.
Parks Commissioner Iris Rodriguez Rosa says because of changes, New York is on track to hire more lifeguards this year, covering more than 50 pools and 14 miles of beaches.
Continuous, no stopping.
How many lifeguards are you hoping to hire this summer?
We're hoping to hire over 1,000.
The city boosted pay to at least $22 an hour with a $1,000 bonus.
The first 3 skills.
And the 40-hour training course is completely free to lure candidates like Anna Fox.
I'm going into college, so I want to save money, and I also want to spend my summer doing something productive.
Trainees still drill swimming, but a timed test was tweaked because it was disqualifying too many people who can still guard a kiddie pool or other shallow waters.
Other people that may not be able to swim deep in deep water or do beaches, they still have an opportunity to be able to work.
Nationwide, communities big and small are diving in to fix the shortage. In Maine, officials in one beach town are trying to hire a full-time lifeguard captain to lead year-round recruiting. In Richmond, Virginia, they're starting in public schools, teaching students of all backgrounds to swim for safety and future work.
We want to help kids enter the workforce, so we teach kids to swim in the elementary side, and then we follow them with a continuum of service through the middle school and high school years.
In New York, Alton Shore expects to hit the water by July as a lifeguard.
I could save someone's life one day, and I think that's pretty important, pretty special.
Saving lives and helping to solve a summer problem. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
A final check of the forecast. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the challenges faced by Americans eligible to retire. Who needs to keep working? Then on KOAM News at 6, a partnership aimed at improving pediatric care in Southwest Missouri and a coaching change for NEO's men's basketball. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We don't need more rain, but some of us are getting it right now.
Yeah, we definitely don't need the rain, but we are going to have periods of showers, even a few thunderstorms tonight, and then especially on Friday morning, and then starting to taper off once we get into Friday evening.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.